I haven't seen you in a month, so I thought we were overdue a catch-up on things that I've been working on and things that I finished. Over these weeks, I've started a few things that have led nowhere, hence why we haven't had any project vlogs recently, and that's because I decided to step down a little bit so that I could release myself from the pressure of finishing things that I wasn't necessarily loving. So lately I've been into crocheting hats, even though I don't think that bucket hats are necessarily my thing. I've been learning a few things about construction in crochet because I'm not that well versed. So crocheting these hats has really helped me understand how to distribute increases or decreases to achieve different shapes. So here's the first hat that I finished. It's not fully finished because I still have to weave in the ends. I especially like this little scalloped edge at the bottom. I think it's really cute, but I don't really like how flimsy it is. It doesn't really hold the shape. Here's what it looks like. As you can see, it doesn't really hold the shape, so it just falls, and I don't really love it on myself. I don't really think that I'm going to get any wear out of this, so I'm going to gift it to my best friend, but I just need to weave in the ends. Since I didn't like how thin this one was, I tried working on another one with a thicker yarn so that I could get something that would hold its shape better. And after finishing it, I found it a little bit too bare, so I thought about crocheting some patches in like a nautical theme. I think that I was influenced by the season since it's summer, but I didn't think that it would really fit my style, so I ended up adding this little crochet chicken that I think it's really cute, and it just adds a little bit of whimsy to the hat, which I really enjoy. And as you can see, this one holds its shape a little bit better, so I think that I'm going to keep this one. I think it's cute, and like with two ponytails or two braids, I think it's really cute, so I'm going to keep it. I've only worn it once when I went to the pool, but I'll definitely wear it out again. I just need an occasion for it. Last week I went on a camping trip and we were going on trails that would lead to waterfalls, so I thought it would be an incredible idea to sew a tankini. I've been seeing them everywhere, so I thought that I needed one, and as a bathing suit wearer it made total sense in my mind because basically I can get the coverage, but I can easily tan my belly by just pulling it up or pushing it to the sides, as you'll be able to see by the design that I ended up working on. So here's what I have so far. I won't be able to show it very well, but I'm going to put it on a mannequin so that you can actually see. This is going to have a tie here. Let me see if I can wear it so that I can show you. This is the shape, and it's going to open here at the center, and then I'll have some bottoms that will match the top. So basically for the top I just need to sew the ties, and here's what the back looks like. Now the thing is that I started sewing these a couple of days before I went on the trip, and that would have been plenty of time, but for some reason the thread that I bought to do this lattice hem detail kept breaking while I was sewing, and I think that's because of the shape of the spool that I bought, and I don't think that I've ever worked with a spool like this on my serger, so I can't really confirm or deny if that's the reason. But I think it was, and with all of the troubleshooting to try to figure out why it was breaking or try to solve it, I couldn't finish it in time. I used my Eva top pattern as a starting point for the top, and I don't know if you know that pattern, but that's a long sleeve top. But I shared a sewing hack for this top, I think that maybe a couple of years ago or maybe even 3 years ago, where I teach you how to turn the top into a strapping tank. So I used that guide to achieve this. And then for the bottom, I'm just using my peachy on this pattern, and I changed the gusset so that there's no seam here. But since I haven't been able to sew the lattice hem, I haven't finished yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to rewind these into a different type of spool or if I'll just buy the cones for the serger. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm definitely going to finish these because there's a lot of summer ahead, so I'll have plenty of opportunities to wear these. Anyway, even though I didn't wear it on the trip, it didn't impact at all how much fun I had. So here's a little reel on how the trip went.
Vocês vão ter de escolher abandonar.
have two other projects on the needles, or better yet, on the hooks. So I have this filet crochet project that I've been slowly working on. I've already shared it on Instagram. I don't think that I've shared it here on YouTube, but this is what I have so far. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the design, but this is a cat watering a plant. This is the body of the cat, this is the tile, here's the watering can, or whatever it's called, and here's the stem of the flower and just a little leaf. I'm going to put up the design so that you can see the finished result. This filet crochet project will be part of some patchwork curtains that I want to work on, and I want them to have some panels that are filet crochet. This will be one of them, but I think it's turning out a little bit too big, or at least bigger than what I was anticipating. And I'm working with a 1mm crochet hook, so I'm not sure how much smaller I could make it unless the design had less pixels, if that makes sense. But we'll see once it's done. If I don't like it on the curtains because I think it's too big, I can always just put it up on a wall because the design is really cute. And I have only one more whip that I'm working on, and it's a laptop sleeve, because I recently acquired a laptop and I want something to protect it. So I've been trying to use up all of the crochet thread that I have. I have lots of them, so I thought that maybe a good idea to use some of them up would be to do a scrappy style project. It's not really scraps, but it kind of has the look of it. So I've been mixing the crochet thread with black yarn, and this is what I've done so far. I'm about 2/3 in. I was just measuring against the laptop, but I'm about 2/3 in. The laptop sleeve won't be just the crochet fabric. I want to get some iron-on foam so that I can sew it on the inside with some lining, and that way the sleeve will actually protect the laptop, because this is way too thin to protect something. So currently I'm just working on the shell of the sleeve, but hopefully in the future it will have some sort of protection. And my plan for the construction is to crochet a couple more rows, and then I'm going to separate the front and back so that the sleeve opens with the zipper until about here, so that I can easily fit the laptop inside. You'll be seeing more of this, so the construction will eventually make sense. And then I'm just going to add a little tag with my logo, and I have one finished project, which is this top that I've been working on since the middle of May. I've already talked about this project on previous videos, but it's finally off the needles. This is a Lana Grossa pattern that I bought as a kit, so I bought the pattern with the yarn, which I had never done before, but I actually really enjoyed because you get the actual quantity of yarn that you need for each size. I have since found this pattern for free online, but it's only available in German, and the kit came with the pattern in English. But the pattern is just 2 pages, so I think it could be easily translated on Google Lens or whichever method you'd like to use to translate your patterns. And it doesn't use up that much yarn because the fabric is pretty holey, as you can see. Yeah, you can see here at the back that you can see through it, but as this green yarn is fluffy, it kind of fills in the gaps. I changed the pattern a little bit at the neckline because this was a V-neckline with a folded collar, but I don't really love V-necks on me, so I changed it to be just a crew neck style, and I really enjoy the fit of this, but I'm not in love with it, and that's because of my color choices. So basically, when I bought the yarn, it was called pink beige or rose beige, something like that. So I inferred from the name that the yarn would lean a little bit more pink than it does. So I thought that I would have like a subdued version of a Cosmo at the moment, but that's not what I ended up with. This is a little bit more gray than I would like, but due to the yarn composition of both yarns, I think that I'll be able to dye the gray yarn without affecting the green yarn, so that's what we're going to do with the rest of the video. I'm going to dye this top so that I can end up with a finished project that I enjoy and that I will want to wear. Now when it comes to dyeing these, I obviously not going to dye the whole top without testing it out first. So I have all of my scrap yarn from Weaving in the Ends, and I'm going to dye these to see how the tone looks over the gray and if it actually affects the green or not. So let's test it out. I'm going to use this dye. This is Easy Color by Marabu, I think. And I'm going to use this color, which is light pink, and the number is 236. I have to check the instructions because I haven't dyed anything in quite a while. It says that it can dye textiles that have maximum of 20% synthetic content, so I'm not sure if these actually won't affect the green. That's why we're going to test it out on the scraps. Okay, seems easy enough. So let's try it out. By the way, I always forget to tell you what I'm wearing, but this is a thrifted skirt, and this is a sewing pattern by Easing Stitches. I think it's called Cutie DIY tee or t-shirt, something like that. But I'll link it down below, and it's actually one of my favorite t-shirt patterns. The fit is really good, and you have these ties at the sides so that you can cinch it in. It's cute. I like it, and I actually should sew it in more colors. Okay. The water has been boiled. I think this color will be kind of intense. Can you see it? I think it's way too dark, but we'll see how much the yarn actually clings to it. I'm going to put in a little bit of salt. I think this is going to dye the green yarn. But also this shaded pink is way much more intense than what I was going for. I think it will give the green kind of a brownish undertone, which isn't really what I wanted. But we'll let it rest a little bit here and then we'll check on it. I'm going to weigh the t-shirt to see how much water I'm going to use, and based on this little experiment, I know that I will want to use way less dye because, as you can see, it's way too pink. So maybe I'll just use the 1 scoop for the whole t-shirt because I literally just want to give a little bit more of a pink undertone to the gray. So I think it's best to play on the safe side and gradually add more dye if I find the need for it. 200 grams, so I will be using around 6 liters. I've just washed a piece of the green yarn, and as you can see, the fluffy bits are still green, but the base of the yarn is where there's some natural fiber to it, so it's looking a little bit brown. I'll definitely need to do a much lighter solution. Otherwise, I'll just end up with a brownish top with green fuzzy bits. I grabbed a new piece of the green yarn and I'm going to leave it in this diluted solution to see how it impacts the green yarn before I actually put in the whole top. So we'll wait again, I guess. But I don't think it will be as bad as previously. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that the top turns out alright because I'm going to put it in. I have a feeling that this is not catching any dye. Maybe it's too small of an amount. But it's okay, we can always dye this again if it doesn't work out. Okay, I think it's been enough time. I'm seeing a little bit of pink on the lightest parts of this grayish yarn, and the green doesn't seem to have taken much of the dye, if any at all. I think this is as good as we're getting today, so let's rinse it. Water is running pretty much clear, so I'm going to put it in the wash. As you might notice, we are in a little bit of a different location. I thought that I should take advantage of my boyfriend's parents' garden to show you the finished result. The part that was meant to be a light shade of pink is still sort of grayish, and I think that pink is a little bit more cool tone than what I would like. So I think that if I dye it again, I'll add a little bit of orange or of yellow to try to bring some warmth to it. This is the original yarn. This is what it looks like now after dyeing. So as you can see, there's a little bit of pink, but nothing drastic. It's not that much of a change. I'm definitely making another version of this top, but whenever I do this again, there's a few things that I would like to change. So for example, this top is constructed, so there's flies everywhere. So for example, this top is constructed with separate pattern pieces, so you knit the back, the front and the two sleeves in whichever order you'd like. I hope you can't hear that much of the wind, but whenever I do this again, I'm going to knit it in the round, and I'm going to start at the bottom and cast on the number of stitches that are for both the front and back so that I can knit in the round, and then I'll separate at the armholes. But I have to make calculations because there's a certain stitch that whenever you're working on this top, you always do on the wrong side, and I have to see if I do this in the round, how that stitch is worked while working on the right side. You're creating 3 purl stitches out of 1, which creates this really cool stitch. Let me see if I can show you. All of these parts in gray stitch are knit on the wrong side, so I'll have to see how this is done on the right side. I think that's pretty much what I would change, and I would also extend the length a little bit. I'm probably going to do a crew neck again, but maybe I could do it with a folded collar and a little button placket at the front. I think that would be really cute. So I guess that's everything from me today. I don't know what you can expect in the next video because it will be as much a surprise for you as it will be for me, I guess. Don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, and let me know which one of my whips you'd like to see me working on my next video. Maybe I'll do that. Bye!